Hello, welcome back to Pina Cucina. I hope you all had a lovely break. Today we're going to do a dish called ragu, which is the cornerstone of Italian cooking, and we also call it pastascuitta. This is the dish that I cook every Thursday and the whole family comes, and it's really wonderful. And we always start with an onion. One day I get really fast like the chefs on TV. Doesn't have to be chopped in any particular way, just as long as it's chopped, because it'll be cooking for a long time, so it'll dissolve. You won't even see it. Now we put the olive oil in the pan. Now we always cover the bottom of the pan. So if you're using a little bit of meat, then you're using a smaller pot, so you need less oil. But because I got the whole family tonight, I'm going to use the big pot. Set the onion aside so it's ready, and I'll get the meat ready. This is lamb neck. I get the butcher to cut it for me in nice big chunky pieces, and some chuck steak on the bone, which I'm going to cut. Now they've got to be nice big chunky pieces, otherwise they will disintegrate in the sauce after 2 or 3 hours cooking. Okay, we've got the onion chopped, the meat's cut, and the oil is nice and hot. So we brown the meat first. That beautiful sizzle. Our meat is nice and brown and sealed. So we're putting the onion in, and we cook this until it's translucent. This is when the onion really cooks, otherwise it remains sort of raw, and you don't want that. So while this is happening, I'll get my sauce ready. This is tomato sauce that we make at home, but you can use passata or tomato puree, works just as well. And don't worry if you've got a little bits of meat stuck to the bottom. They'll come off when the sauce is put in. I think that's what gives the sauce a really nice taste. Now I'm cooking for about 8 people, and I've got about 2 kilos of meat in there, and I'm going to be putting about 2 bottles of sauce. You can see how the sauce has covered the meat here now. So what we're putting in now, I like to put a little bit extra tomato paste. Now when you buy a jar like this and you don't use the whole thing, I only put like 2 tablespoons in here. So when you're not using the whole jar, no one ever does, you just push it down to the bottom and then cover it with a bit of olive oil, which I already have in there, and you just keep it in the fridge for about, it'll keep for a few weeks, and you just stir that in. We're not going to waste this bit of sauce in the bottle, so we add a bit of water. Shake it around, make sure you get every little bit out, and we put it in. Next we're going to put the salt. Salt is something that you're going to be very careful with because you can't take it out. So I'm using 2 bottles. I'm putting 2 teaspoons of salt. I like to use the sea salt. They tell me that it's better for you. And then we put some basil. Just chuck it in whole, doesn't matter. Now basically this recipe now is done. It's up to time. You've got to bring down the fire to a minimum, put the lid on, and don't forget to go and stir it every now and again. And if it goes too dry, then you add a little water. You don't add stock or anything like that. Well, that's what I do anyway. All we need now is the spaghetti. We'll come back in a couple of hours. Oh, that is so beautiful. Nice and thick. The meat's coming away from the bone, and that is done. So all we need to do now is put it on our pasta's been draining. This is why it's called pastascuitta, because it's very well drained. So we just put that into our plate, and we'll put some sauce over it. And we take out the meat and put it in a separate bowl because it's easier to get the sauce that way. Try and shake as much sauce as you can, because everybody loves extra sauce on their pasta. That is so tender, it's so absolutely beautiful. Look at that. See how it's coming away from the bone? So this is what we have every Thursday night. We have in the pasta, we have in the meat a second with a nice big fresh salad. There you go, pastascuitta. Now you know my secret. Enjoy it. and pass it on.